Dual enrollment. I actually have a lot to say about it. At this point, my oldest son finished his associate's degree, and my next two teens are about to start their second year. So I wanted to give an update on our experience with dual enrollment. Between the three of them, they've attended six different colleges. So, where do I start with sharing our experience with dual enrollment? This podcast is going to be a review of dual enrollment, and that is the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, hello, Rebel Moms, and welcome to the Life Unboxed podcast. I'm JODIE, the mom, wife, homeschool mom of six, and successful mom entrepreneur. And I am bringing you information and inspiration on raising kids, running a business, and keeping your sanity. So you can find the episode show notes, Rebel Mom checklist to help you homeschool confidently, tools to make your work from home life easier, and so much more information at lifeunboxed.blog. Now let's get into the show. So what is dual enrollment? Before we dive into a review of it, let's talk about it. So essentially, it is when high school students are taking college classes. At this point, my two next ones are pretty much finishing out their high school with just college classes. So dual enrollment is a great way to skip high school and go straight to college. If your kids are college bound, then give them a head start in high school. And so you can learn, there's links in the description below, and you can learn more about dual enrollment colleges and then how to add it to a high school transcript as well. But we're not going to get into that in this one. But let's talk about the good of dual enrollment. There's one major benefit of working on college and high school. Tuition is so much cheaper. Like $500 per credit hour for regular tuition is $100 per credit hour for high school dual enrollment. So it is a dramatic savings. The second benefit is they can skip high school and go straight to college. Now, they haven't completely skipped high school, but once they start with dual enrollment, that is basically all they will do. They may do a few high school classes here and there, but for the most part, it is just college. They are able to get an associate's degree very cheaply, get it earlier than most students, and have a good foundation to continue their education if they want to. So now the bad. Yes, the bad of dual enrollment. Because those are the only benefits of doing early college. I am so deeply unimpressed with our higher education system. I am at the point of being disgusted with it. The only reason they will continue is the cheap tuition, and businesses still give points for a college degree. But the college system is a joke or a scam, as Charlie Kirk wrote in The College Scam. And yes, I did buy the book because I was totally fed up with the college system. I have dealt with 6 different colleges, Christian and non-Christian, and I am still surprised at the incompetence of the administration, the arrogance of the professors, and the lack of actual learning that is happening. It is mind-boggling that colleges and universities are still in business. After my kids finished their first semester at one particular university, I was very tempted to email the student advisor and tell her she oversold the program. Like, in my opinion, she oversold it to the point that I feel like she lied to us. And honestly, I'm still thinking about emailing her. So, are all the colleges bad? Honestly, I don't really know. I hope there are institutions of higher learning that take it seriously, but I haven't found one yet. And I know what you're thinking. Why are you doing it then? And I confess I've asked myself the same question. It comes down to really cheap tuition. They couldn't go to college at any other time in their lives so cheaply. And it still looks good on their resume to have a college degree right out of high school instead of just a high school diploma. Those are my 2 reasons. All right, now let's talk about the ugly, because there's a lot of ugly. Okay, So I am completely unimpressed with all aspects of these institutions of higher learning. So let's start with the administration. It is very easy to get into college for dual enrollment. Some colleges require testing, but there are so many that don't. If you're doing dual enrollment, then don't waste your time on a college that requires a lot of hoops to jump through. It is just unnecessary. There is one college that my kids have taken classes from that require a letter from the school district, not happening because we're homeschoolers and have nothing to do with the school district, or a transcript from previous college. I was told this is to ensure that high school students can handle college level work. So I may have told them that my kids' homeschool work was more rigorous than any of the college classes they offered. And this is from personal experience because I have also taken classes from this college. So another college couldn't get my son's registration correct. Literally, and this is not an exaggeration. I mean, literally, as in the literal sense of what that word means. Every semester, she messed up his registration. And then I would have to text her boss to get it fixed because she ignored my son's emails about needing it fixed. Yeah, it's not an exaggeration. It was every single semester she had messed up his registration. And I'll be honest, because it did cross my mind maybe he's not communicating it to her. So I even emailed her to make sure that the registration was clear, and she still messed it up. So all right, let's talk about rigor because colleges love to use this word, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's a joke. It's just a joke. So, in my opinion, colleges and universities think more highly of themselves than they should. And maybe this is an indication of how uneducated students are when they actually graduate from high school. So, I know there are recent stats regarding literacy in high school students, and they're so low. Like it's criminal. It really is that students are graduating from high school with and not knowing how to read. So we have found that most classes aren't rigorous, or if the college is just trying to present themselves as rigorous, then they pile on the work like 3 to 5 times more than their other 100 level college classes, and they have a professor who shouldn't be teach the class. So basically, the students stop trying to learn and are just trying to complete the assignments. So there needs to be a balance between learning and assignments. Sadly, it seems some schools interpret rigor as more assignments, but fail to actually teach and ensure that students are learning. We have definitely encountered classes like this. And when we pointed it out to the dean of the school, we just received a brush off email response. So I don't think my kids would say that they are learning much. My daughter probably is because she is putting in the effort on her own. If she just relied on the classes and professors, she would probably say she isn't learning much of anything. Okay, so more ugly, and that's the ideas of DEI. And this needs to be addressed because it is pervasive in all the colleges we've encountered, including the Christian colleges. If you're planning on dual enrollment, then you need to prepare your kids for these ideas. It is important to fully understand them. So books like Why Social Justice is Not Biblical Justice by Scott Allen is an excellent resource, and anything from Thomas Sowell. But my favorites are Ethnic America and Black Rednecks and White Liberals. But really, any of Thomas Sowell's books are going to be fantastic. So, as a mixed race family, we have addressed these ideas because of the events in recent history. While the ideas of DEI want to define everybody by the color of their skin, we have encouraged our kids to let no one define them by an immutable characteristic, the color of their skin. So, these ideas are antithetical to a Christian worldview, and seeing Christian colleges support and teach them boggles the mind. My oldest son has encountered this the most, um, and he will speak out against it. And we discovered he gets 100% anytime he mentions, as a Black man, I find these ideas offensive, even if the paper is not well written. I call it his DEI 100s. And the idea being that he is defined by the color of his skin and not by his merit or character. That is assumed that he must be low educated and so much more. So all of these ideas are they're just atrocious. And really he has been defined by them at these schools and not based on the merit that he has put into his class or not put into his class. It comes down to the bigotry of low expectations. So I would also, along those lines, I would also highly recommend avoiding sociology classes. And this may not be easy because sometimes they are required, but if you can avoid them, then do it. So my son took one from a secular college, and he was told by the instructor that he must answer the questions according to the course material, even though the questions were all looking for an opinion. So I guess he wasn't allowed to have an opinion that deviated from the course material. He also had to write a paper on socioeconomic classes and whether people can ascend from their economic level. I suggested that he interview his dad because his dad was raised in New York City by a single Black mom, and he moved up from that socioeconomic class. The instructor essentially told him that his opinion was wrong. And, in my mind, I thought lived experience is what they're all about. So I guess it only moves in one direction, that lived experience. So I know this is anecdotal evidence, but all the ideas of DEI are backed by anecdotal evidence. So if they were to actually look at the facts of their claims, their ideas would fall apart. But if they can base claims on anecdotal evidence, then he can too, right? He should be able to present that as well. So he also had Bible classes with a heavy emphasis on race. And to me, this was absurd. The idea that we judge anyone or make assumptions about anyone based on the color of their skin is antithetical to a Christian worldview, and it should not be taught. And there are so many other ideas presented throughout the various classes that fall into the DEI category. So one of the most important things we can do as parents is to discuss these with our kids and to help them thoroughly understand the ideas. And that is, I would add that as a benefit of dual enrollment is we had the opportunity, because they were taking classes online and in our home, that we can actually discuss the material in real time, and you didn't have the pressure of being the only oddball in a room full of people who were too afraid to speak up. So we'll add that into the good side of dual enrollment. So now that you know the good, the bad, and the ugly, let's find out if dual enrollment is right for you, because this is really something to consider and think through. So yes, my big three will finish their degrees, but we are reconsidering this path for our next three. But I have 4 years to decide, so things can definitely change in that time period. So I'm not making any decisions either way right now. And there are 2 reasons we are doing dual enrollment. Again, cheap tuition, and it is replacing most of high school. So some college or a college degree looks better on a job application or a resume as opposed to just high school. And I understand you don't need a college degree to do a job, but sometimes you need it to get the job. And if you decide to do dual enrollment, then you need to be your kid's advocate, and they need to advocate for themselves as well. Every college will tell you that students need to talk to the professor directly, which they do. However, they've had some professors who weren't professional, so I refuse to let them do any one-on-one meetings with him. So I see myself as the equivalent of their guidance counselor. So I will also be their advocate. If it comes up that parents shouldn't be involved, then that is the position that I will take, is I am their guidance counselor. The one thing they do need to do is to sign the school's FERPA form giving you permission to talk with the college. So this is a legal requirement for the college, so make sure to ask for it. And that's FERPA, FERPA, because college records are protected by federal law, and so the college can't, even if you're paying for it, the college cannot talk to you if the student has not given permission. So if your child has aspirations to go to college, then dual enrollment is probably a good option for you because it is cheaper tuition, but it isn't a one size fits all solution. It is important to carefully weigh the benefits and challenges of dual enrollment. So I wanted to share our unfiltered experience with the different dual enrollment options out there so you can make an informed decision. I'm not saying your kids shouldn't go to college. Mine are still working their way through it, but I wanted to give you all the information and tools to make dual enrollment successful for you. So thanks for listening, and be sure to check out lifeunboxed.blog and download your Rebel Moms checklist. Happy homeschooling and working from home, and I will see you next time.